Thank you everybody for joining us for our webinar, taking a look at our thought leadership dashboards. I hope you're all well. I know we haven't got the sounds for you to join in speaking, but what we'll be doing is taking you through our new dashboard projects for data visualization for your thought leadership. Just to introduce you to our speakers, I'm Helen Trudgeon. I'm the Head of Marketing and Business Development for Meridian West. We also have Director Ben Kent.
Hi everyone.
And Jonathan Litterick, who is one of our senior consultants.
Hello everyone.
So they'll be talking you through a little bit more about Meridian West for those of you who don't know us very well, and then Jonathan will be taking us for a drive through the dashboards. Next slide.
Yep, thank you. So for those of you who don't know Meridian West, just a brief introduction to who we are. So we were established back in 2001. And we're a research consultancy. We specialise in doing work for professional services firms, and actually a major part of our work, I'd say about half, is doing these kind of thought leadership campaigns, which is really some fascinating kind of work for us to do. And here's just some examples of some of the projects we've done recently with the likes of PwC, Allen & Overy, Grant Thornton, Pinson Masons on a wide variety of topics. And in terms of how we help, so next slide please. We help clients, first of all, coming up with the ideas for thought leadership. So often people have a vague idea that they want to do something, I don't know, want philanthropy. We help shape those ideas and put together the campaign strategy. We can then use a wide variety of research techniques, so doing in-depth interviews, quantitative research programs, desk research, and kind of data analytics and segmentation. And then we have a team of writers that can then turn that analysis into reports, and increasingly we're using digital content and apps and help with design, etc. So it's a kind of a super type service. So if you move to the next slide, Jonathan. So in terms of what we're talking about today, we've been building dashboards as part of thought leadership for about 5 or 6 years now, and I think it's one of the most exciting parts of thought leadership. And we're going to be talking about giving some specific kind of user cases, but I thought it'd be useful to just start with the overall kind of concept. So at its heart, right in the middle here, you've got the dashboard, which essentially is an online tool that enables you to slice and dice the data, look at it in different ways, and to create a visualization that you can either put on your website or you can use to produce kind of bespoke reports. Traditionally, this has been used, we've used this for survey data, so kind of online surveys, telephone surveys, but increasingly we're getting asked to do it with other data as well. So just recently we've done a project looking at the financial performance of asset managers, and that's desk research, so that can also be inputted into the dashboard. And the reason it's proving quite so useful is what it enables you to do is create really personal insights for your clients. So rather than receiving a sort of generic report, you can show how your client compares to their direct peer group. So you can use it for personal benchmarks and BD meetings. It's also super useful if you need to do a cut of the data. For example, if you're doing a regional conference or want to look at how a particular industry sector performs, you can do that at a click of a button, and it's a lot faster than doing it manually in PowerPoint. And finally, you can also use it for data visualization. So you can put it onto your website, and it's a really great way of kind of engaging people and putting them in. So that's just an overview. And now I was going to hand over to Jonathan, who's going to show us some examples. Jonathan.
Cool, thank you very much, Ben. So I'm just going to get the demo itself up. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So as Ben said, using segmentation and analysis, the dashboards let you drill into your data to create personalized reports that can focus on specific areas of your research to create real value. So we can personalize the outputs for clients using these dashboards. So for example, you can tailor a presentation precisely to one client that you're going to see, and we can use the data behind the dashboard to build a business development toolkit for a client, which tells staff exactly where this client is strong, this is where they're weak, and these are the services that we can sell to help them. So I'll show you a quick example here. this is the front page of a dashboard around a study of the finance function of the future. So here we've gotten a number of clients to fill out a survey about their finance function, what technology they're using, what their strategy is, where they would like to be, what mandate they have from leadership, etc. So we've developed a balanced scorecard system that gives them a diagnostic of their finance function and scored them in these categories, as you can see here. So the turquoise line that's currently showing shows where the global population sits in terms of all of these categories. So let's imagine we are a consultancy that sells lots of services that can help make our clients' finance function lots more effective. So we ask our client to fill out the survey, and then we get a benchmark for them that feeds straight into this platform. So let's say this client is called Adam K at yahoo.com. What we do is we filter directly to him by putting his email address in, or you can put in a company name or whatever identifier you need. Then you just click update. And then Adam K's results come up here. So you can see he's quite strong at innovation and leadership, but is weaker in the other categories. So let's say that Adam K is part of a legal firm based in Asia with lots of turnover. Right now, we're comparing him against the global population, which is interesting, but maybe not super tailored to him. So in order to personalize the insights we're getting, we can filter directly to his peer group. So you just have to choose the variables up here, click update. And now you can see in red, that is Adam K's peer group. So we can see he is, for example, significantly behind his peers in technology. He has a score of 0.9, they have a score of 12.4. And that's pointed out by the little red flag here. So what we can do now, we can jump to the Idiot's Guide to Selling Technology to Adam K, or as it's more affectionately known, the Business Development Toolkit, which we have here. So this shows exactly why he's ranked low in technology. It shows our firm's point of view regarding technology. It shows the services that we can sell them. It shows who internally is the go-to person that can help with this. So maybe you might want to bring them along to the meeting, or maybe speak to them about what the firm can offer this client.
So this is, sorry, Jonathan. Sorry, Jonathan. So this is something that's been tailor-made against those results, including internal data from the firm, so that you can create these results.
Yes, exactly. And this page can be completely bespoke. So this dynamically updates based on the responses that Adam K has. So you can have, you can have one page for everyone about technology. You can have it tailor-made to him. You could have a page in case he's weaker at technology than his peer group. Then it can have tailored recommendations for him. If he's stronger, it can have tailored recommendations based on improvements he could make. However you want to do it.
And I think, and I think, Helen, this is Ben here. I think the other kind of advantage of this is often one of the issues we found with thought leadership campaigns is you publish the research, but it's then getting the partners kind of comfortable talking about the research and kind of identifying their own kind of firm's point of view and having those kind of business development conversations with clients. So this essentially gives the partners pretty much everything they need to know. It shows them kind of where the client's performing, where there's weak, where they're not. It kind of helps them, you can pull together the point of view and other kind of collateral that the firm has, and also who they should be kind of referring their, that particular client to if need be. So it's essentially a kind of digital cross-selling tool is one way of thinking of it.
And it's able to bring in data and information from across the firm and from across separate sources to be able to pull all that into one place rather than just the findings from your research.
Yes, that's right. So you can have it displaying results from a particular research campaign that you've done, but you can also link it to any existing data sources you might have. So for example, you might go and ask clients, in this case, all about their finance function, but on your system, you might have a lot of kind of financial information about billing and their revenues, etc., which you can link within this dashboard as well. It doesn't all have to come from one data source. And we can incorporate almost any data source into these dashboards.
Yeah.
And presumably in terms of look and feel and layout, you can make it, or you can design it how you like or how you want it to work within your firm and within your own branding and content.
Yeah, that's right. So this is Meridian West branded, but this is purely as an example.
Yeah.
All of our clients use these just in their own branding.
Yeah. And I think also we've learned a lot about how to kind of make the user experience really good. So, you know, we've been kind of trying to make it super engaging so partners can use it, clients can use it. You don't have to be a kind of research specialist to use the tool.
Yeah, which is really important for, you know, having a successful project that uses dashboards like this. We have a big focus on user experience these days because unless it's simple and easy for people to use, then people won't use it. So we always design that with this in mind. Cool.
Great. And in terms of being able to share the data and export it into different formats, whether into PowerPoint or Excel, is that quite easy to do?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Helen. Yes, it's very easy to do. So I can show you an example if you'd like.
Oh, yes, please.
Yes. So the functionality here, add to my stories, shows how this is done. So what you can do is you can go through the dashboard and just got a new story. So you go through the dashboard, you filter to whatever variables you like, and you just click add current slides. And then let's say we also want to get the point of view slide. Remember how to spell. And let's say we want demographic information in here. What you do is you go through and choose the slides that you want, and the story creator functionality, sorry, the My Stories panel will build the PowerPoint deck, and you'll have it linked to your own PowerPoint template. So in this example, we have the Meridian West PowerPoint template linked to it, but all of our clients that use this will have their own. And I'll just export this in a second and show you what it looks like. Okay, there we go. Generate PowerPoint report. And this will spit out a custom PowerPoint presentation with all of the information that you specify. We can also, there's also some functionality for building a completely bespoke PowerPoint deck, which is the story creator functionality here. So the My Stories functionality lets you export what's already in the dashboard, filtered to whatever variables you want for a client. The story creator functionality lets you produce charts that might not exist anymore for a combination of variables that, you know, may only be of interest to one particular client. And any PowerPoint deck that you want to produce is very easy to do in this, which our clients find very useful because I think everyone spends too much time playing around with PowerPoint, and this takes all of the legwork away from that.
So you can create bespoke templates for those PowerPoints so you don't have to go on and create those new PowerPoint slides each time you create the findings of your research.
That's right, yeah. So it can update based on what has happened in the last, the new survey data that you've collected in the last 6 months. You can have it automatically filtered to a specific variable. So it could be a region, it could be a client. You can have it automatically email these PowerPoint presentations to people on over a set period as well. So we have clients that use this for example, for regional conferences where maybe they've got them every 3 months. Then every 3 months you can spit out a PowerPoint presentation automatically filtered to Latin America, for example, and you only have to build it once, and then it automatically triggers and sends out over a set interval.
Yeah, and I can sort of talk from experience. It does save a lot of time. So I'm helping a client. We're doing a survey on tax functions, and so I managed to produce a chart deck which has got about 60 slides in it, and basically took 20 minutes to put together. And normally creating 60 slides would take at least a week of an analyst's time. So it really does save a lot. And a weekend. This week's experience, but so yeah, it's a massive time saver. And I think the other thing, because it's quite easy to slice and dice the data, you can give it to different teams. So you can give it to a team who might be looking after a particular industry sector or a particular region, and they can just go and interrogate the data and pull off the reports themselves. So it's a way of really, particularly if you're doing a big global thought leadership campaign with several hundred responses, it means you can really squeeze the value out of it and let all your teams on the front line use it.
So does that mean that then you can segment it so that certain teams see only specific areas that should be of interest to them, and then another team would get a separate access?
Yeah, you can give people different rights to it, but you can also, there's a lot of capability to slice and dice the data. So, you can look at it by, listed versus non-listed businesses, large versus SMEs, different industry sectors, job titles, different regions or different countries. So yeah, it's pretty flexible.
And it's worth noting on that point that that's a really good way of breathing life into old campaigns. So
Yeah.
often we have clients that have been doing thought leadership or content marketing or whatever it's called years ago, and now have massive CSVs sitting on their company drives for which the data isn't actually being used anymore. But you can segment it in ways that you may not have thought of very, very easily by plugging it into dashboards like this. And this is just an example of this is the PowerPoint that I just exported. So you can see it's in the Meridian West template. It's got all the stuff that we filtered to, and it spits out very, very quickly. So that is a big time saver.
Cool.
Okay, and with the PowerPoint templates, you can manipulate the data within those the PowerPoints as well, not just flat graphics and images.
You can, yeah. So within the story creator functionality, you can build a completely bespoke PowerPoint deck. So I'll show you a very quick example here. So let's say we are going to see someone who is very interested in technology. So we've got the distribution of how machine learning and AI are used. We can then look how it is distributed regionally. That's a bit funky, so let's change chart type. And you can have all kinds of charts within this tool as well. Probably the most sensible way to represent this would be a stacked bar, which we like very much in Meridian West. So now we have the chart here. We just have to export it. Then there's an option here, generate PowerPoint report as editable objects. So this is something that we find very useful and our clients find very useful because it sends the underlying data with it as well, which is always very useful. So rather than showing a static image, it has the data in it as well. So you can see here. I hope you can see. You're seeing my screen, everyone, right?
Yeah.
Cool. You can see here that it's actually sent the data with it, which is extremely useful, if you ask me anyway.
That is extremely useful.
I said that.
And you can also set those up as alerts to go straight into people's inboxes, so you don't even need to touch the system. If you had a regular report, for example. Yes,
you can. So we find sometimes that there may be certain users within a firm that are involved in a project but may not have the time to build these decks themselves. So sometimes it'll be a key account team, for example, supporting a relationship partner who's going to go and see a client. So or presenting at an event, for example, and the key account team can build the presentation once and have it sent to that partner, at set intervals.
Yeah.
Excellent. And what about public access? Can you put this onto the website, or is this something that has to be used internally?
Again, I'm glad you asked that question. It can be publicly accessed, yes. So often we will have clients that use these kind of portals, and they have a public-facing side, which will be certain charts embedded on their website that are interactive. So, for example, things like this. People can filter by region and by ownership, but they won't be able to see, an individual's response. So there will be a slimmed down version on our client's website. Then internally, they will have the juicier stuff, which is pages like this, where you can see an individual's response. This is what we can sell them, etc. And all of that is very easy to customize.
It's quite a nice way of having a bit of a teaser on your website to draw people in and follow up with more detail with them.
Exactly, because you don't want to give the public access to every single data point that you've collected in a survey, but you might want to give them a flavour so that they, they all come and talk to you about the study and maybe participate.
I think the other thing, Helen, which is kind of worth saying is you can use the tool for a wide variety of different types of clients and different topic areas. So at the moment, we're working a lot with a couple of Big Four firms and Magic Circle law firm, and we're doing built dashboards on all sorts of topics from innovation within legal sectors is one we got on at the moment, tax function, a CEO survey. We're looking at kind of expatriates. We're looking at asset management. So it's quite flexible in terms of the kind of topic areas and the types of client that can use it.
Okay, I think in terms of the data you can put in, I mean, you touched on it earlier that you can use historic research and to build up an extended way of looking at your thought leadership, which I quite like as an idea, because it means you don't necessarily have to go out and produce a new piece of thought leadership. Yeah. You're working with what you've already got, but can then build on it. But in terms of the data, does it have to be in an Excel format, or are there different formats that you can import into there?
It doesn't have to be in an Excel format, but we find that pretty much any data source that you've got can export into a CSV, which means it can link to this. But it can also link via API to a number of survey platforms. So we generally use Qualtrics, which it links very easily to. But almost any survey platform it can link live to, and it can link to any CSV, which means that you can almost get any data into this, unless it's on a scope.
And that can be a really good cost-effective solution, actually. So we're working at the moment looking at taking data from the financial statements of various banks and fund managers, and we've taken that data and we're importing it into this tool. So it's that data is quite readily available, and it enables you to sort of slice and dice and benchmark one financial institution against another. So yeah, I think. And you can use it for other desk research as well.
And you can also set up an API across to your CRM and your other internal systems.
Yeah.
Yep, you certainly can.
Okay, I think, yeah, sorry, Dan.
I'm just so conscious of time. We've got sort of 7 minutes to go. Is it worth showing the website content as well?
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sure. So, So one of the other tools that we've been using quite a lot with our clients recently is Flourish, which lets you embed data visualization on your website very easily. And again, you can put in any data that's in Excel into this, which is pretty much all data. So this just lets you put kind of very interesting interactive moving graphs on your website. This is an example of a study that we did. And this is interactive as well, so you can play around with data.
And this works really well on websites. So if you want to, on your homepage, you maybe create a microsite for your thought leadership campaign, just taking some data, which if you produced it as a static visual, wouldn't have that kind of wow factor. But just making it animated is terrific for websites. It's also terrific for social media. And then you can lure people in and click to go through to the full report and the full benchmark report. That's the idea.
Cool. And I'll just flick through a few more examples. Zoom out. So this is an example of a map. This is showing income per person in the largest cities, and this is all interactive as well. So you can zoom in, and you can display whatever information you want. So this is just an example showing, as I said, income in larger cities, but it could show M&A deals, it could show, disputes, it could show whatever you want. And this will embed very easily on your website. And they are interactive as well.
And I think I've seen quite a few of these on Twitter and LinkedIn and various websites. I think the BBC uses this tool.
Yes, I always see it on LinkedIn and I get sucked in and end up playing around with stuff. So this is an example
But that's what you're doing when you're working at home.
Yes, yeah, that's what I'm doing anyway. This is an example from a study that we did around innovation. So you can see here, all of these dots represent a respondent. You group by what are their main drivers of innovation. Then you can shade by, turnover. You can compare different things against each other. And this is all very, very interactive. So it's just a kind of quick insight into the results of a survey that you can put on your website. It's quite visually appealing. And for more, you could do any kind of visualization that you think about. So, for example, this is a map showing exports globally, but you can whiz around it and have it on your website for clients to play around with.
So again, quite a nice introduction to highlight the key elements of your thought leadership before going into the more detailed analysis.
Exactly. So this would be kind of, visually appealing, eye-catching things that you'd have on your website that would show a brief overview, maybe some cool stats from your survey. You're not going to display the bulk of your results in something like Flourish, but it's more to catch people's eye and get them interested in the survey before you then talk to them about it.
This also works super well at conferences, so you can have these visuals kind of rolling on the screen, or you can use them as part of kind of presentations. It's a really nice sort of change from just PowerPoint.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I think we'll wrap it up there. I'm just conscious of keeping within time. So finally, thank you very much, Ben and Jonathan, for sharing your thoughts with us. And thank you everyone else for joining us for the webinar. I hope you found it useful. We will be making the recording available in due course. So if you'd like to share it with your colleagues, we'd be more than happy for you to do that. And if you do have any questions or follow-up, please do come back to me, Ben or Jonathan, and we'd be more than happy to speak to you. But thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Helen,
yes.
Is it worth mentioning the Ideas Lab?
Yes.
Yes,
Finally.
so one of the things that we've been running for clients, and sometimes we do this kind of free of charge, is often people are thinking about doing a campaign, but then really need to take some broad ideas and really firm up what the campaign is going to be about, and what outputs and how to plan it. So we've created this 90-minute workshop which we run with professional and other clients, and really it helps you kind of come up with ideas for thought leadership, and we help you define what the big goals are, what's the big idea, what's the headlines you want to get out of it, helps you define the audience, the business case, the inputs and the outputs. So it's a really fun kind of interactive session. We do voting, there's prize giving. So if anyone's kind of thinking about doing thought leadership, would like to do one of these Ideas Labs, just get in touch. We're very happy to do it as soon as the coronavirus is over. But we can do them online as well, actually. We've run them quite successfully online.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Cool. Thank you very much, everyone.
Cheers then. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.